The Tobago wedding is very unique, and there are several traditions, and I think attached to the Tobago wedding. What we see normally at the Tobago Heritage Festival is a staged version. And I have actually been a part of a Tobago old-time wedding. And as I tell you, it starts from what we see at the Heritage Festival nowadays. It's actually the wedding celebration. But you have to go back to when the boy starts to check the girl, and it's called, we call it nowadays courting. In Tobago, they say you're courting in. That means the boys chat up the girl, and then he's going to, after a while, something follows her home and so on, holds her hand and this kind of thing, real old-fashioned stuff. And then she will invite him to meet her parents. And what happens is that when he meets the parents, you know, he comes a couple of times, the mother will sit down, it will be the father, then the boy, then the mother, then the girl. The girl doesn't always sit there, the fella at all. And this will go on, and they will give them time to cut it short. After the question about who your family be and where you come out and where does do. And if they kind of feel pleased with him, they will invite him back. But they will give them the couple some time for themselves. And they say by 8:30, you know you have to leave. And the mother will come out and she starts to sweep the gallery. They're not allowed to go in the house, in the gallery with the chairs and so on. And that's the first signal that boy time to leave. Well, if she doesn't take that hint, then she will come out, and we have what we call Demerara windows, a board window with a stick to push out. And she'll start moving the stick on the window, then blam, blam, and that's the signal to get out. And if you don't, then the father comes out, and you know it's time to go. But once that was accepted, he has to prove his work. Remember long ago, most of the people are farmers and so on, and you know, plant potato, corn, this and that. And the parents want to know if you're a good workman for the daughter. And they'll bring this big log of wood in the yard and give you the axe to bust it. And if you can't bust it, means that you can't work. So many a handsome guy has lost out to the rough fella who could bust the log of wood, and he's given the hand of the young lady. And they plan the wedding. Well, lots of preparations go into that wedding. And it is set for normal on a Friday night because the weddings are normally held on a Saturday. And what will happen is that this is where the tradition and the simidimi comes in, where just before the wedding, let's say the night before the wedding, the parents will go to the sea and buy seawater. They get the seawater, a bottle or so, they throw some copper coins into the sea, they buy it. And then they go to the cemetery to invite the relatives who have long been lost, who died, to come to this, what we call on the Friday night, a real dance. And that invitation is given by way of rum and the sweetened water and the seawater, and they throw this on the grave and they call the names of the dead and invite them to come to this celebration on Real Dance Night. Now, the Real Dance composed of two main fixtures. Traditional dance, for example, have the reel and the jig. The jig is very, very formal. And people enjoy it. It's a very technical dance with intricate footsteps, and we have passes and spins and so on. And what will happen here is that the couples will dance, you know, when no special costume, because remember long ago, most people had head ties and their flower dresses and so on. And the music was unique. Only in Tobago, we have what's called real tambourine music, which would consist of 3 tambourines. Good? A boom, a fuller, and a cutter. And these are rings and hoops and covered with goat skins, which have to be heated. So you get different sounds, and they're beaten whilst, you know, it's rotating, so it bang, 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 bang. So the deep one, the drum goes boom, 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 boom. And then the other, ta-tang, 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 and with the cutter, bing, bang, 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 bang. And just with the fingers, and with a violin and a triangle. And that was the typical music for the Wheel Jig. And the very integrate steps, you know, the lovely steps, you know, and the smiles and the showing off and so on. And people enjoy those times. You have several interchange of partners. But then as the night gets, well, you have R. The food on that night is ram goat, rice, and rum. So a lot of rum goes freely. So by the time, you know, midnight, people really souped up. And you get into the fast version now, which is the real. So where you have the jig goes ding dang, ding dang, dang, ding dang, da dang, dang, da dang, dang, da 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 da, bing bang ba bing bang ba bam ba ba. The steps are unique, and then as the tension rises, they go to the bing bang ba bang 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 ba dang bang 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 bing bang ba dang bang bang bang. It's a faster beat, and people really when they start to dance, they wheel and they turn, and sometime tonight, somebody's going to catch the spirit, and they're going to start talking now. You're not going to live properly, the wedding got this and that, and you know this and that. And so the spirit foretells what is going to happen to whether they're going to have a successful marriage or a marriage which is going to be broken up by somebody else and so on. Yeah, that is why, so they would enjoy themselves until sometime the next morning. Good? And the next day is actually wedding, where again, the long time wedding, we didn't have transport. You used to walk from one village to the other, as the case may be. Good? And traditions won't happen now. We're going to get married and you normally go to the bride's home first, what is known as cake and wine. And there was no house. A bamboo tent was built in the yard with bamboo table, a long bamboo table, and a long bamboo seats. At that table, only the women were allowed to sit. And again, what has happened that they will tell you, the invitees are telling you to walk in the wedding, and they normally send a male companion for you. Somebody you've never seen the person in your life. They say, go out to pick up that lady and bring her to the wedding. And in the weddings, she has to take care of you, because when they serve all this other food, they don't serve the men. They serve the lady, and your partner stand behind you, and they pass back after they've eaten to the partners. But the men were concentrating chiefly on the rum. And after the formal situation, they will, if there's any food left. And this is the situation. And then when they come to the home of the bride first, you get one of those cake and wine. And then you go to the home of the groom. Sometimes the villages are not too far apart, so you use the same tambourine music, and you use the tambourine music, you know, sometimes about a 3/4 mile or a mile, and you walk along the streets, and the village joins in a procession, and you go to the home of the groom now. And it's like a whole village procession, everybody joining like a carnival band with the tambourine music, and everybody in the reel and drip. And the dance are called the brushback, which you shot the Tobago heritage. Good. And then, you know, you go to the groom's home, where there's a bigger tent now prepared, and you have to go around the home 3 times. And then you go into the bride and groom will go into the house. That will be her new home. And then they come back out and they sit in the tent. And the same applies to all the ladies sitting around the tent on the bamboo benches and their partners behind. And then lots of food and tambourine music again who want to dance. And then the invited people, they are there in the final. The older people take over the yard and dance a reel and jig and so that's important. Yeah? And that's, the real tradition of the Tobago wedding. And I mean, I'm sorry to say that.
This was our childhood. Creativity at its best. This is a definition of Caribbean brought-up see. These are our games: cardio, coordination, timing.
Ready or not, here I come.
And we always had time to tell our stories. Mama Glue was the beautiful, beautiful woman of the waters. She ruled all the rivers.